Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker, and I've changed the format a little bit. I'm no longer going to be editing videos. I'm going to do everything on the fly. I've got my digital desktop all set up in my Streamlab here, so I can change screens and actually pretend like I'm a little bit professional. It's been a couple of weeks since I posted something. I've moved to Montana. I've got my studio set up. I had some computer problems, and I wanted to get everything changed around. So, and to be quite frank, I'm not posting nearly as much here on YouTube anymore. I'm moving the vast majority of my content over to betterbachelor.locals.com. So feel free to join me over there. I will be doing dating profiles of the day for you guys on YouTube as a little bit of a teaser trailer, but normally they'll be only over on locals.com. So men have kind of quit dating. And, you know, we hear many times that, oh, who hurt you? Or from even some of the dating guru guys that are out there telling you how to date women. You know, I've got nothing wrong with that. The problem is a lot of us guys that even know how to date have just said, you know something, the selection's not so good anymore. And I'm not really... Like, I just don't see any reason to put myself out there. And I've got a couple of articles today to read that just exemplifies how bad the dating scene is. Hookup culture is on point right now. Guys, if you want to get into hookup culture, hey, hit the gym, learn some game. You don't have to have a really deep personality. You don't have to have an amazing job. You just need to be able to lie and pretend like you have a great one, and you can hook up and then move on to the next one. Because even Hollywood actresses are pushing this now. I've got an article about actress Demi Lovato pushing this. It's just getting worse and worse. So, as you can see here, as a title card here has said, men have quit dating because of the women are awful. This was part of the reason I got out of dating initially. I went overseas, I came back, and the selection of women were just, they were either not my body type, i.e. overweight. So...
Was she a great big fat person?
Or there just wasn't anything there that I felt was working for me. So... add on to that something like social media, and you've got women basically putting themselves out there, and the more that they show and the more easy that they act, and the more, I don't know if maybe they're not even really letting guys access them, but they're acting very promiscuous on social media, getting all the thirsty simps and all this validation and attention. They're genuinely turning into somebody that many guys, myself included, would say, yeah, she's hot, man. And yep, if I were into the easy hookup, or I just wanted to get some, yeah, I'd go out with her, or yeah, I'd hit her up, or I'd DM her, or take her out for some drinks and take her back to my place. But that's not conducive to a relationship. And on top of that, I've got an article about how women oftentimes will have that hookup and then regret it afterwards. And when they regret it afterwards, well, in many areas now, they can say, he did something inappropriate. I kind of said no, or I felt like I was kind of coerced into it, and guys are getting in trouble. So I have here from the Gateway Pundit, former Disney star Demi Lovato tells followers to be a and make. Now, for those of you that are on YouTube, I'm going to, that last part was blotted out, but it's going to be easy and put yourself on video for money, basically, is what she's saying. And again, this is a Hollywood actress. Hollywood is promoting this. Everybody is fine promoting it. And so again, if you're like, well, I don't want to date that kind of woman. I'd sleep with that kind of woman, but I don't want to date with that kind of woman. That's why so many guys are like, but I don't want to just casually sleep with people. I want somebody that's good to be with. And so if these are my choices, if it's like, poor quality, easy women with high body counts, and I'll just pass. Like I'm good by myself, and I don't want to get trapped into something where I get in trouble for anything. They say former I should say pop star and former Disney actress Demi Lovato promoted adult work to her fans while urging them to be an easy woman with a lot of partners and have sex with many different people. Back in May, Lovato announced that her preferred pronouns are they and them, and that her gender is non-binary. Okay, this is Gateway Pundit, but I think now if you were to read it I think Gateway Pundit's kind of conservative, but if it were going to be on any other, like, I don't know, if it were going to be on, what's the word I'm looking for? Like Yahoo or any other news site, the Daily Mail or anything like that, they'd probably say back in May, Lovato announced that their pronouns are they, them, and that their gender is non-binary. So I'm just reading the article, so God forgive me if I'm getting something wrong. They say in an Instagram image posted to her stories on Monday, Lovato told her followers to be an easy woman, show your body, get undressed. You can always tell when I'm doing a video for YouTube versus locals because I have to watch every other word again. Show yourself off with no clothing. Have all the safe, different, consensual bedroom fun you want. Be kinky. Self-pleasure. Make and watch spicy movies. And make money. Now, you have to have a job, but I'm assuming she's saying make money while making those videos. It concluded, just a reminder that being sexual is okay. The image was really posted. Image was originally posted by podcast host Vaz Morgan. It says, sex is amazing. If you watch spicy movies or subscribe to a spicy account, you're directly benefiting from the adult workers industry, Morgan captioned on his post. Stop judging people for getting paid for something you're so freely offering out yourselves. Whether you love bedroom fun or hate it, whether other people do with their lives or bodies is not your business, he added. Spicy work is work. Sending love. You know, when this is the cultural norm now, I'm okay with it. Like, if you want to sell the services, great. If you want to purchase services as a guy, I'd say, hey, go for it. I mean, you don't have to wine and dine her or take you to fancy dinners just to go home and maybe not get any action. I mean, if you're paying for a service, you're going to get that service when you pay for the money. So I've got no hate in my heart for it. But at the end of the day, that's not somebody that a vast majority of men want to settle down with and date. And there's some that do, and more power to them, because the list of women that are available for you guys that are like, I don't care about her past or her body count. Congratulations, the world is wide open to you. But for a lot of men that do care about those things, that do want to at least get to know somebody, that does want to have a little bit there that's important to them beyond just the physical availability to them, they're kind of out, and there's nothing left for them. And you find this more and more, that a lot of guys are just saying, you know something, man, this isn't for me. I'm tapping out. I'm done with this. I'm moving on. And because the selection of women is becoming so poor. And this is mainstreamed now. And this is an article here I have, which is from health.com. This is how women and men really feel about the casual sex. According to research, a new study looks at why women often regret one-night stands while men often regret passing them up. This is the problem that women will often say. They say, oh, it's my body, it's my freedom, it's my choice. I'm going to just go out there and have a good time with it. And no shame and pleasure for all. But then the next morning after, when they're starting to regret it, well, regret can also oftentimes turn into, well, I didn't really want it, and he kind of talked me into it, and I felt pressure, and all of a sudden their story can change, and before you know it, fellas, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. So they're coming forward with a great story of, oh, I'm really into it, but if she has a couple of drinks too many, or next morning she wakes up and is like, I kind of regret that, you're going to be in a world of hurt. So again, this is another danger where men say, I'm fine with this, and them wanting to be casual, but then there's the regret the next morning after. And I can get a lot of trouble for this because of the believe all women hashtag stuff. They say about half of all people in the United States and Western Europe will have at least one one-night stand, according to authors of a new study. When was this written? 2014? 2017. Lots changed. I think it's a lot more than half now. More than half maybe by the time they finish high school. According to the authors of a new study and how they feel about those encounters, the next morning tends to be very based on gender. Women are more likely than men to regret casual sex, while men are often more happy with what went down. Yeah, because that's how men are built. We're meant to go out and sow the seeds and have a good time. It doesn't have to be emotional. But for women, even if they say it's not supposed to be, a lot of times either it does get emotional or it damages them. And it damages them emotionally. It makes them feel low value. See, a guy that gets lucky a lot, he feels high value. He's like, hey, women are hard to get, and I'm getting a lot of women. That means I'm high quality. I'm high value. For a woman, it's easy for a woman to get a lot of men. All she has to do is basically be a woman. So when she does get a lot of partners and a lot of high body count, it doesn't necessarily make her feel better. It doesn't make her feel desired. It doesn't make her feel wanted. Oftentimes it makes her feel bad on the back end. But when you have Hollywood stars and social media and everybody promoting it saying, oh, this is great and this is what you should do, well, they listen and then they do it. And then it doesn't turn out so well for them. And then they're not so happy about the choices. I know that's very shocking.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
They say new research also saw big differences in how people felt after they turned down opportunities for the casual hookup. Very few women regretted saying no, while nearly a third of men wish they had just said yes instead. The findings published in Evolutionary Psychology come from a recent survey of 263 adults living in Norway, but they're strikingly similar to previous research done in the United States. In fact, the authors of the new study set out to see if they'd find big differences between the two locations, given that Norway has been ranked as a more sexually liberal and secularized country. But it turns out that the same patterns exist in both places. In the Norwegian survey, 35% of women regretted hooking up with somebody they just met versus 20% of men. And only about 30% of women were happy about their most recent experience versus 50% of men. So 35% of the women regretted the hookup with someone they just met, and only about 30% of women were happy about it, which puts a very large segment of women, again, that are like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do, is promoted and spicy work and all this other stuff, and they do it, and then they're like, this is not good. This is damaging to me. But when they get this damage done to them, that damage can be very long lasting. And a lot of times they'll come out of that relationship or multiple relationships or the hookups or whatever. And then they say, you know what, I'm done with that. I want to settle down. And that's a lot of the dating profiles of the day that I do that are like, they're 20 years old and they're like tired of fun and games. I have 2 kids. It's time to find a serious man. It's like, what kind of damage have you had done in such a short period of time? Well, I mean, obviously there's a lot of damage, but where they're just like, that's it. I'm swearing off a lot of this, and I need someone serious at 20. Now, back when I was 20, yeah, there was still the hookup culture and people were having fun, but it wasn't nearly the same. And it certainly wasn't like the girls that were a little bit easier, certainly weren't bragging about it. Oftentimes, they would be like, keep this on the down low, okay? And if they did regret it, they weren't making a phone call to somebody and posting on social media that someone took advantage of them. So things have changed a lot, and guys really need to be careful today because you can get yourself in a lot of hot water. So you've got 35% of women regretting it, and only 30% of those and I don't know if it's the same subset, but 30% of those women were happy about it, which means 45% of them were not happy about it out of all the women. And like half the guys were like, yeah, this is all right. When asked about the last time they said no to casual hookups, 80% of women and 43% of men were happy about that decision. 80% of women were happy about saying no to a casual hookup. But again, this is being promoted by Hollywood, social media, and everybody else. They're sending women down the wrong path. Then these women are getting damaged and then coming back to the dating pool. And men that do not have all these opportunities, that are just kind of your average everyday guy, are like, you know something, this isn't working out so well for me. And I'm not so happy with the selection that I have because everything's getting dumped into the market is damaged. So 80% of women that did say no are happy about it, and 43% of men are happy. Only about 4% of women regretted passing up on an opportunity, compared to nearly 30% of men. Why? Because, again, men that are into the casual hookup will look at a woman and say, she's not that pretty, but her body is banging. And that's what I'm going to be banging. So they'll go for it. Where oftentimes women will look at a guy and say, he's not that good looking, or he's not in that great a shape, or he's not successful, or he doesn't make good money. He's not a step up. He's in my hypergamy tingles are not going. And so they'll pass up on that. And only 4% of the time do they wish they had. To figure out exactly why women tend to regret casual hookups more often than men, the researchers from the Norwegian University of Science and Technology and the University of Texas at Austin dug further. They found that, unsurprisingly, women tend to worry more about the issues like pregnancy, STDs, and getting a bad reputation. Not only are there some of these issues unique to women, the authors point out, but women tend to worry more in general, while men tend to be more impulsive and take more risks. And now, one of the things is with the pregnancy thing, you can protect yourself many different ways towards that. As far as the STDs go, you can protect yourselves two ways: abstinence or wrap it. Make sure everything's wrapped up. Those are the ones I would, as a man, would probably worry about. And getting a bad reputation. But again, the bad reputation part of it's going away because this kind of activity is being cheered on. The problem is, again, once guys hear that a woman is like that, they do not want to date that woman seriously or long term, and only too late are women finding this out. They say survey respondents were also asked about sexual pleasure they received from their one-night stands. Okay. This is an important one. I don't understand why women don't understand this more. So the researchers said, did you like it? There, the research found that another not-so-big surprise, men had a big O face. They reached the finish line during casual hookups far more often than women. Yeah, of course. Men are probably going to get off 90 to 95% of the time, even on a casual hookup. Because, again, for men, it doesn't need to be emotion. A lot of it's just physical. At the same time, though, fewer women said that the crossing the finish line was particularly important. So now I'm not a woman, and I've been told by women that, oh, even if I don't get to the finish line, it still feels good and it's wonderful. But if there's no emotional connection, you're not getting the finish line. For a woman, aren't you just kind of, what does that give you? 5-10 minutes of pleasure, and then you've got another notch in your belt, and you've got another guy high-fiving his friends and having a laugh at him using you for his deposit, so to speak. I mean, I do not understand why women are doing this. Well, I do. It's validation, but I think they need to find other ways to get validation. They say still the differences are in worrying the differences in worrying. Okay, so I thought they were supposed to say are worrying.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Still, the differences in worrying or in sexual satisfaction weren't large enough to account for the overall gender gap in regret. Instead, the researchers hypothesized that regret has a lot to do with evolutionary differences between male and females. Men are biologically programmed to produce as many offspring as possible, they say. Women, on the other hand, can't have unlimited children the way men can, so they're hardwired to care more about partners' quality over quantity. These biological drives are, of course, much less important today than they were centuries ago, and the researchers acknowledge that cultural stereotypes of sexually active men versus sexually active women may certainly play into women's greater likelihood of having a negative experience. Women are also more likely to be coerced or pressured into the bedroom fun than men, they write, which may also account for some instances of regret. Well, who's doing the pressuring? That's the key. Because men today can get in a hell of a lot of trouble if they try to pressure a woman into it. However, women are being socially pressured by Demi Lovato, by social media, by people coming out posting saying, oh, there's online articles. And some of them, like Vogue magazine, and they've all gone woke. Let me find they've all gone woke. Where's my...
Everything woke turns to shit.
They've all gone woke, but the same thing is they're posting, hey, it's stunning and brave to do this, do it. And then women are like, I guess this is okay, and then they do it. It's not men that are pressuring, I mean, some men maybe, but for the vast majority, it is society and other women that are pressuring women to do this. There was an article posted on a Facebook site where a woman's like, I'm happy to just be a homemaker and take care of my children and cook for my husband and be there for him sexually and make him happy. And women were slamming her, saying, oh, that's not very progressive and he's got you trained. And it's other women that are doing a lot of the pressuring. But in fact, this pattern, but the fact that this pattern persisted even in a sexually egalitarian culture like Norway suggests evolutionary biology still has an impact, the researchers write. Of course they do. There's still lizard brain stuff going on. You can't just overwrite that. You can talk about big girls being big, bold, and beautiful and put them on billboards and saying that, 300 pounds is the new fit and thick is the new fit and all this other stuff. But men's lizard brains are lizard brains. And they go, well, I'm not going to make fun of her or be harsh about it. You do you. But I still want this, size 4 over here with the big bobs and the booty hanging out. Like that's just how guys are. And the same thing goes for women. We can say, hey, guys, just be funny and be creative and have a great personality and she will want you. No, that's not true. She still wants broad shoulders and a big chest and tall and attractive and muscular. Now, will they sometimes date somebody that's not that? Sure, but they want that they want the guy with the cash for the long-term provider. They want Mr. Hot Pants for the hookups. And that's why right now, because it's a hookup culture, that's why all the hot guys are getting the vast majority of the action. They say, so there are any lessons to take away from this? Leif Edward Ottensen, Kinnair PhD, professor of psychology at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, says that in today's relatively liberal society, people may be troubled if they feel bad after having a casual hookup, actually experiencing unhappiness because of their unhappiness. Some women might find comfort in not being alone about regretting one-night stands or not having the O-face every one-night stand, Kinnair told Heath via email. But it's also important to note that these top-line results only show the big picture, he says. Plenty of women didn't regret their one-night stands, just as plenty of men did. In other words, what really matters is how you feel about the bedroom fun, not how society or any one study says you should feel. After all, when both partners are into it, getting busy, and it has been shown to have scores of health benefits, the important thing is that you're using protection and being informed, safe decisions, ones that are good for you physically and emotionally. But that's the problem, is that the emotional effect does happen to women. There was, and I've talked about this in many of my other videos, so I don't have the graph up, but they show exponentially that the fewer partners a woman has, the longer happiness she has in marriage or long-term relationships. Like 0 to 1 partner, marriages are much longer, and the women report being much happier because that's the only, she has no one else to compare it to. But women that have many, many multiple partners, their divorce rates are much higher. And the same thing goes, again, guys do not, women naturally say, oh, well, I want him to be tall and good looking and keep relatively good shape, but I'm going to choose just one guy, and we'll call him Brad. And so she chooses Brad, and she's with Brad, and that's all she knows. Might there be better out there? Yes, but Brad is a good man to me. And he's relatively attractive, and he's in relatively good shape, and he makes relatively good money, and I think he'll make a relatively good dad. Very relative. Very, go get him, average guy. In the past, women would select that guy and say, hey, I'm happy with this. This is great. But now because of social media and everything else, you have access to so many other people and dating apps where you get a little bored and start swiping just to see what else is out there. And the problem is women with the high body counts, yes, their morals are looser, but also something else happens. They end up doing, oh, I want a strong jaw like Tim, and I want him tall like Brad, and I want him muscular like Phil, and I want him hung like Douglas, and I want him aggressive like Tyrone, and it goes on. And then when they look for the perfect man, they selective all these different parts from all their previous relationships and trying to jam it into one guy. And then they're like, I can't find Mr. Perfect. He doesn't exist. So what happens when that girl gets back on the market? From the New York Post. Let me scroll back up to the top. I was just reading through this. Girlfriend draws up 17-page contract for Tinder flame after dating for just 2 weeks. It says she's basically a modern-day Rachel Green, and they are definitely not on a break. Annie Wright, 21, drafted a 17-page relationship contract after dating her now boyfriend for only 2 weeks. While it's no 18-page letter to Ross Geller, Wright's contract to her boyfriend Michael Head, 23, was just as extensive. The contract came with 4 main objectives: honesty, communication, awareness of partners' needs, and clarity and alignment of intentions. I made the idea as a joke. Then he said, no, seriously, we can do that and talk about it, right? An Atlanta, Georgia native told Kennedy News. Now, here's a picture of her. They both look like very sweet, innocent kids, honestly. They're very young people here. And he's tall, and he's not bad looking, and she seems to be happy. And spoiler alert, he's a soon-to-be graduating lawyer. Yeah, buddy, soon-to-be graduating lawyer. They say, at the time I had braces. Let me get to the point with the contract. She says right here, the pair met in October on Tinder. 2 weeks after meeting, they decided they wanted to date. Within the 17-page document, Wright outlined all of her expectations for their relationship, which asked him for no silent treatment, to pay for date nights, and to not isolate her from friends. We printed out terms and conditions. I went over to his place. We sat on either end of the bed and read them out loud. And he's a pre-law student, so he was pretty keen on making a contract. Oh boy, doesn't that sound romantic? When you get in a relationship like this and you're starting to write out contracts, especially as young people, there's not a whole lot of, they look like, like they're young conservative people going to a dance or to a political event. She says, we treat our relationship almost like a business interaction, Wright told The Sun. We deal with conflict like partners in business would. We sit down and treat it more like we're partners in life, and love is an added bonus. Hey, I think that's a good thing that you sit down and talk out your problems and deal with them. That's great. Let's hope that's not how you're dealing with all fun. Like, shall we do Applebee's tonight, my dear? I was thinking rather we should do something a little more highbrow, like Olive Garden, shall we? Both awful places, by the way. After we have dinner, shall we make love in the missionary for approximately 15.5 minutes, where I shall make sure that you reach your happy place, I shall reach mine, and then we shall watch television, the telly, for a bit. How does that sound? That's really what kind of relationship this sounds like. So she went from one extreme to another. She had a really bad hookup, or a really bad relationship where she was treated like crap and she came out on the backside. I'm telling you. And lastly, let me pull this screenshot up here. This is what men are seeing that women are like, and this is on Tinder, guys. I always do that. Not Tinder, Twitter. This reads like Tinder. It's Twitter. And this is what kind of women, or what kind of actions women are doing to try to get men, and men are wise to it, to the point where a woman now is so, quote, used up or not desired or so easy that these guys are like, I shot my shot, I'm done with you, or no, you're even too easy for me. Now, whoever took this screenshot blurred out their information, which I think is good. She said, I tried to go over to 4 guys' houses last night, and they all flaked on me. How hard is it to suck some D out here? Shaking my head. So she reached out to 4 dudes, and she took a screenshot. She says, proof. And she sent to them, let me suck your D. And the guy's like, F no. And she's like, you're mean. And she did that to 4 people, and the guys are like, no. And here's the thing. When a guy doesn't want you this way, what do these women bring to the table? What else do they have? Can they cook? No. Can they clean? No. Can which is very conservative. But do they pay for dinner? No. Do they do other activities? No. They're pretty much bar flies that like to drink and just hook up. And that's the only value they have. So when they lose that value, no guy wants them. All right, guys, let's move on to the dating profile of the day. All righty, so this, let's get my sexy music going. So this gal is Tanya. I did not blur out her information, but it doesn't have where she lives, so this girl's name's Tanya. Now, she has the fake eyebrows. She's got the fake, tons of eye makeup on. She's got the fake lashes with lots of mascara. She's got a little, what she tried to do, it looks like, is used a pencil, like lipstick liner or something like that, and she drew above her lip. So I guess she's trying to make them look a little bit fuller. However, to me, she looks like she has a Salvador Dali mustache on the top of her lip. She's 36. She says, I'm a single mom of 3 teenagers, hence why I'm fond of a bottle of wine or 5. Oh boy, doesn't that sound great. She's into alcohol. That's red flag number 1. She says, I ain't got time for silly little boys who still live in their mom's box room and wanks into socks. Annoy me and I'll F your dad, make you my stepson, and I'll ground you. Middle finger emoji. Don't have to type, just don't be a C word. Yeesh.
Well, I'd love to stay and chat, but you're a total bitch.
Again, like, you're 36, so you're already kind of past your prime. You've got 2 kids, and you're just a bitch. Why would you think anybody wants you? There's nothing here that says what you're good about, what you're great about, what you're about. And on top of that, your attitude's like, oh, if you piss me off, I'm gonna go F your dad and make you my stepson and ground you. Oh, stunning and brave. What a lovely selection. Let's have a round of applause for her. Yeesh, no thank you. All right, next dating profile. She looks like she's got a kid on the way. I don't know if she is or not. So she's 20, and she's bi. So she'll take a guy, she'll take a girl, she'll take anything. She's now 20 years old. I'm a single mom of 2 beautiful babies. Apparently that's a deal breaker to little ass boys.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, sir.
No, it's not that it's not that being a mom of 2 is a deal breaker. It's that guys do not want to be with somebody that's, especially if they're, 20 years old, they don't want to hook up with somebody that's got 2 kids. They don't want to date them. They haven't got their job started. They haven't started their life. They aren't doing anything with themselves. They just want to go out and have a couple pints with their friends and maybe play some, I don't know, frisbee golf or whatever it's called. I got a group that plays out here in a park across the way from me. They're just starting their lives. They don't want to hook up with a girl that's got 2 kids at 20 years old and is like, well, time to settle down now. It's too late. Guys, if you'd like to support my work and if you want to support my work and you want to check out my other videos that I'm doing a lot more work over on betterbachelor.locals.com. You can become a member for free over there. Just make a profile and sign up, and you can see like 80% of my stuff over there. Same thing that I do over here. And then I do special content. I do news stories about the world of events, and I do live streams over there. I'm going to be doing a live streaming while I'm gaming. I'm going to be doing a movie review night where I play a video in the background and I kind of roast it, and we'll have live chat while we all have a good laugh. I'm doing all that over on betterbachelor.locals.com. And guys, if you want to support me, it's like 13 cents a day. The more you support me over there, the more it keeps me off YouTube, which is a good thing for me because, with all their censorship, I have to dance around words so much. It's not much fun anymore. So we'll kind of leave it there. Other than that, again, like, comment, share, and links down below if you want to hook me up with a little Bitcoin or something like that. Guys, I'll leave it there. This is Better Bachelor. I am Joker. And remember, it's one of those things where guys have quit dating because of the market. It's not that guys have been burnt. It's not that guys don't know what they're doing in all cases. In many cases, they're very good at dating. The selection is so crap that they've decided to tap out.